Hello world and welcome back to this part of the tutorial. And in this tutorial actually we'll be covering how to add sounds to our game. So first of all, I want to quickly go over uh, an error that I encountered when playing the game. And so let's go ahead and run the game. So if I try to shoot now, I get this error that says invalid access to property or key global position on a base object of type null instance. So and we are getting that because of this target enemy, and our target enemy is null. So what are we going to do in such a situation? So first of all, let's go ahead and create another variable for last move. Set it to effector2 dot 0, and over here actually I will check if our direction dot x is not equal to 0, and if it's not equal to 0, we set the last move to equal to our last move dot x to equal to the direction dot x, and we can do the same thing for y. And so if you go ahead and over here actually we just pause it, and you can easily check if target enemy uh, if there is no target enemy at all. So if I get enough returned, so what you are going to do is let's copy this first. So space it over here. Actually, let's declare the player bullet over here actually. So we don't need that anymore, so avoid redundancy in our code. And so over here actually our direction effector will be the last move, and also there will be the rotation is actually going to be uh, based on the directional factor. So first of all, let's try to print the direction factor. So okay, I just put this over here. I will change it later on. So if I move up and shoot, I'll still get it. Okay, wait. I'm not setting the return. You can already saw a lot of an error before the game starts, and now there is no enemy. So for now we are going to fix all these errors actually. So first of all, our last move, uh, we are getting some errors over here. So if we don't want any diagonal movement, you can just set the last move dot y to equal 0, and over here you can set the last move dot x to equal 0. Now I believe this should fix all the diagonal movements error. And so this is exactly what we want actually. So and now let us rotate the player bullet based on the value that we set. Actually the player is moving very slow. The player bullet is moving very slow, so let us increase the player bullet speed maybe to 50, and also enemy bullet to 270. So let's go back to the player, and we are getting this directional factor being printed, and we need to make use of it actually. I can go ahead and write ifs, and actually to make things easier, let us use if. Let us use some complex formulas. So I've said if directional factor actually dot x is less than 0, our rotation I think is in radian actually. Yeah, I think it's in radian. So let's check things out a bit first. So just check this out. Okay, it's working as we expected actually, because this should be pi times 1 point I think 1.5. So let's go ahead and write the condition for all the other factors. So if it's greater than 0, that's pi divided by 2, or pi times 0.5. Don't forget, let's say this is our origin and this is our 0 degree. This is our pi times 0.5. This is our pi times 1, and this is our pi times 1.5, and this is the same thing. This 0 origin is also our pi times 2. So well, this is if our direction is minus, and that's pi times 2, and this one is for pi. and everything is working correctly. So well, that's the error fixed. So I hope you enjoyed how we go about this error. If you are to add diagonal movement, that might add some complication. You see, if I move, uh, let's kill this enemy quickly. Let's click this. Let's kill those. And let's say I'm moving diagonally. So I already saw that the bullet movement is restricted to only some movement, to only some axis. So uh, I can't shoot diagonally. I can't. So and that's exactly what we want for this very simple game. So now let us move on to our today's topic actually. First of all, I've added this little brown, this little sorry, little blue, deep blue background to as the image of the texturette for our background scene. So this is our background node that we had in the last tutorial. And if you have any background image, you can just drag it in as over here. So let's say I want that as my background. So but let's just leave it at as it is. So you can create your own gradient. I've explained it in the last tutorial. First of all, when we shoot, you want a shoot sand. So how are we going to go about it? First of all, we need to open our chiptune, and we've got the chiptune, and okay, I'm just randomly checking for a shoot sand that we can use. I think this is okay actually. Okay, I think I'll go with this shoot sand. Um, just leave it at this. So I'm going to save the file over here. So this is no, actually this is our folder under assets. I'll create a new folder. Let's call it sand, and so this will be our shoot dot wave. And so we've saved it in the wave file format, and when we hit an enemy we also need a sand. So I can just click on this boom to generate this sand. click on this boom to generate the each sound. I think I like this. I also go with the same flip over here, this flip, and let's save it. Also died dot with, and that's for when the enemy dies actually. So we need when the enemy is hot. I think I like this sound actually. So save it as hot, and I think that's all we need for now. We also need this flip actually. For whenever we click any buttons, I think that's cool actually. So this should be click, and I believe that's all for the SFX. So let's go back to our Godot again, and to add a sound to our scene, we need to use the audio player node, and we have three version of it. We have this audio stream player, and we have audio stream player 2D, and we also have audio stream player 3D. And this is very good if audio stream player 2D is good if, let's say, you have a 2D platformer game where there are different scenes, and you want the sound to be played based on its location, and the sound volume is also going to be based on the location. So that's when you are going to use audio stream player 2D, audio stream player 3D for when you want such things, but now you are including uh, a three dimension actually, but we are going to stick with audio stream player actually, because we just want the sound to be played. We're not using any 2D coordinate space to play the sound. So she named this as shoot. And don't forget, we need to keep things organized. Let's create a node. Let's call it SND. SND is short for sand, and let's drag it over here. So I can just drag the sand shoot and drag it to this string property over here, and I can play it to test it. So first of all, what we are going to do is we are going to reduce uh, all the sound that is in over here, that is over here. So let's go to the player script, and in our ready we are going to do this actually. We are going to uh, get no, first of all, let us call this snd dot get child, uh, okay, sorry, we'll be creating a for loop to loop through all the child and snd dot children, and we're going to be setting is the volume linear to equal to 0.5. I'm not sure if I get this right, so let's check things out. Okay, I'm not getting any error. I think it's okay, but okay, seriously, what are we going to do to this uh idle state? Actually, you might have noticed if I start the game, uh our last move is actually vector 2, there's 0. We might need to change that actually, because we don't want bullet to just spawn at the center of the scene. So let's give it some default value. So let's say I want to move it in the X position. So I think that's good. And so now what you're going to do is every time we shoot over here, we are going to play uh, this shoot sound. And to do that, we just call the play function. And whenever we shoot now, we are going to this shoot music is going to get played. And let's try to shoot, and we are getting our music played. And to check if this is actually working, let's set the volume linear to 0, and okay, it is working. I recommend if you are creating any game that you set the volume of all the SFX, as in sound effects, to 0.5, all of them. Yeah, to avoid the SFX volume being larger than uh, um, being higher than the background music volume, and we don't want that for our game. And so that's all about it. And now let's go ahead and let's visit the enemy bullet. No. Player bullet. No. The enemy scene over here. So let's create a node. Let's call it SND, just as we do for the player. And now we need this died, and we also need this auth. So I can just visit the recent and just click on this. If you like, you can just call this also died SND to signify that is a music if you like. But this is a very simple game, and I don't need to complicate everything. And this is for auth. And so we'll give them the music respectively. So, and this is for auth. And now in the enemy scene, don't forget we are going to create another for loop again. If you are so lazy, you can just go ahead and copy this and just paste it over here. That's if you are lazy like me. Okay, Now what we are going to do, whenever we got out, actually, so that means actually none of the enemies actually have a health, and we can actually quickly fix that. And because we want the enemies to actually have health, so to do that, actually I'll be using seriously, I think I forgot this node name actually. Is it texture button? uh, okay, okay, let's not complicate everything again, and let's just use a label to display the out. I was thinking about the, yeah, I think it's progress bar. So this is the node that I was looking for. So can resize it. Actually, you can check under this transform, and let's set the size to equal to 30 30. Let us reset its position. Mm, and the position dot x, that's going to be 15. Oh, sorry, minus 15. And for the y, that should be like minus 10. Okay, let's take it up a bit, minus 30. And let's resize things a bit, so let's take it up. So I think that's good. So for this progress bar, actually, when we resize this, well, we got this percentage being shown, and we can set the current value over here. Let's set it to 100, and okay, let's resize things a bit. It should be 30. Oh, sorry, this should be like, let's set it to maybe 40, and for the y position, that should be minus 20, because 40 divided by 2, that's 20, and I think that's good actually. And so let us place this over here actually. And now we've introduced another node actually. So what you are going to do first of all is let's create a variable called auth rate. And let's set it to a random value from 10 to 40. So this is the rate at which okay, we don't want a random number actually. Let us create a variables, an array, 40 and 40 and 50, and we are going to pick a uh, random number out of these 5, and so every time we shoot, well, we are going to be updating the health. So the player now also gets an health. And so let us give it a setters, and set health. And first of all, our health should equal to E, and we are going to update the progress bar does value is value property to equal to health. And before all of that, we are going to play the alt sand. Also, in this player bullet, um, when we shot any enemy, what we are going to do is we're going to call his health value, and we will reduce it um, by the alt rate. This alt rate over here. So there are ways you could have went about this, maybe by giving the player some pickups, and but this is a very simple game, and you can explore other ideas on your own. Okay, actually this is very look into it. I already like it, but for now our alt rate is actually I don't know why our alt rate is constantly 10, and I don't want that actually. So let us check if it's actually working, because it should be picking between the 10, 20, and all those. Okay, this is 30. I like it. So for now, we can easily go over here, over the enemy, and we check if our health is less than 0. Actually, if it's also equal to 0, and we are going to play this died, and at the same time we are going to before we play the sand, actually we are going to disable the collision shape. To do that, we call this so collision shape dot set deferred, and we are going to call the disabled, and we are going to set its value to true to avoid any more collision. And after that, we await the sand to play finish using this signal uh, finished. If a certain property is a signal, we are going to get this little icon over here, this icon near the finished. So we are going to await it, and after that we are going to remove the enemy. So let us check it out. Okay, I think the died um The dyed sand is playing very slow, and we don't want that actually. So let's go over here, and I was thinking about okay, let's try to increase the page scale. Okay, actually, um this is what we are going to do. We are going to create another timer, and in this timer, or we can actually do this actually. Don't let us create any timer. um, when we set the deferred, when we disable the collision shape, we want to hide the enemy visually. So, and you can do that by going over to the animated sprite 2D, and just is visible, and we can just set it to false. And so let us check things out. Okay, we also need to disable the progress bar. Okay, this is getting uh redundant actually, but bear with me for this very simple game. Actually, there are a lot of stuff that are not best practices, but I'm just explaining the game concept over here. And well, that's it for this tutorial. And in the next tutorial, we are going to be adding a background sand, and also we are going to be making use of this click sand over here. So okay, and that's it for this tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it and you've gained a thing or two. And if so, please like, leave a comment, and kindly subscribe. And if you are feeling generous, you can support us on Patreon. Thank you. Bye.